okay, Impact Wrestling. Now I'm going to say this to anyone who's going to watch this episode. If you care about wrestling more than storyline, you're not going to like this episode. I'm telling you right now, off the bat, we only had 3 matches. Unless when I went to the bathroom, another one happened, which I did go to the bathroom. And that was between Decay and ABC. So if there was another match in between that I missed before the main tag, I missed it. But as far as I can tell, there's only been 3 matches on this show. So you're not going to see 5 or 6 matches. You're only seeing 3. So if you're not interested in story, do not watch this episode. Because you're not going to be happy. You're not. You are going to be dissatisfied with what you're going to see here. But if you like a show that talks about storytelling as well as wrestling, and they emphasize a little more storytelling here than the wrestling, this might be for you. It might be. Now, I want to say that the camera work was pretty good. No problems generally. They didn't do a huge amount of switching. They showed what was in the ring. Lighting was okay. Audio was not bad either. In general, you can focus on the storytelling, not the production value. So, that's a good. I give them this. And I want to make this clear. You know me. I will tell you the production of any promotion. And I know there's one person, you know who you are. You told me that MLW is back on YouTube. I'm not watching it. I know that you want me to look at GCW. Even though you said it, I know you want me to do it. I'm not doing it. Because every single time I've looked at GCW or MLW, the one major problem was production. Who wants to watch a show when you can't see what's going on, the audio is crap, and the camera work is shit? I'm saying it now. Unless they completely reworked all their production, which every time I looked at it, they have not. Remember, I'm a reviewer. Not just a reviewer of just the wrestling and the storytelling. Who wants to watch a show if you can't hear what's being stated in the back or in the ring? Who can't see what's going on in the ring because there was no freaking lights, or you can see even any of the fans in the venue, or you can't even capture what's going on the screen when you see someone do a pretty much a suicide dive or a really good drop kick, or even do chain wrestling if the camera work is crap. The other reviewers won't do that. They're going to tell you what's in the ring unless it's so horrendous that they'll talk in length for how bad it is. I at least tell you up front what you're dealing with. So you know who you are, my friend. I know you're badly wanting me to go back to MLW. I'm not doing it unless I know 100% they fixed their problem with their production. GCW, I don't think they're ever going to change with their production because of Nick Gage. Nick is the driving force behind them, and the way they work their camera is the way they work it for Nick. So, sorry. So here we got. Let's go to the matches first because the story is more important. Match. Moose versus the Rich Swann. I was kind of hoping for a Jonathan Gresham. That's what I was really hoping for. I knew it was either going to be Nick. It was going to be... I'm thinking about Nick Aldis at this moment because I'm actually quite happy how he turned. But when you look at Moose and Rich Swann, I knew it might happen. But I kind of wish for Jonathan Gresham to go up against Moose. Because I really feel like those two might have a very unusual and very interesting story. You got a former champion in a Moose of TNA and Impact versus a former champion of ROH and a Jonathan Gresham. You got this is Jonathan Gresham, this is Moose. Literally David and Goliath. I'm sorry. Jonathan's not a tall guy. He's probably my height, maybe slightly shorter. He's not tall. He's either my height or shorter. I would have loved to see that. Because even Rich is taller than Jonathan Gresham. And I do want to see a match between them. But this was about Rich and Moose. There's no real story behind it. It's just a match. Yeah, Rich gets Moose a bit angry because of the 8-4-1 match. But really, there's not really much of a story there. There isn't. In the end, Rich Swann wins. But does this really help anything in the end? No, not really. I don't think there will be any story. But I wouldn't mind seeing that now Moose go up against Jonathan Gresham or Jonathan Gresham go against Rich Swann. Because even though we got Jonathan Gresham versus a Mike Bailey, I want to see him go up against those guys next. That's what I want to see. Let's move on. ABC versus Decay. Now, I saw some of this match when I had to go to the bathroom. But what I saw wasn't a bad match between Ace, Bay, the person I truly believe deserves more is Black Taurus. He is a great wrestler. He's got a great gimmick. He's got a good mouthpiece in Steve. I want to see him get somewhere, but we haven't seen that yet. Either because they really don't believe in him, or he's just not really devoting a lot of time to Impact, which it looks like he is. In the end, ABC won. They are the champs. So I'm not surprised. Yes, I know I can talk about the moment afterward when it talked about when it goes to Motor City Machine Guns, but I'm putting that in story. I'm putting that over in the story category. So we're just doing matches. 10-man tag. We got Nick. We got... Let me give it to you like this. When it came to the 10-man tag, well, not 10-man, the mixed 10 tag, having 2 women in there, well, actually 4 women in there, and 6 men, and 1 guy at the end, which was Vidal outside. Was it a big smosh? Yes, it was. Was it a bad match? No, it wasn't. Did everyone shine in there? Most did. Look, Kenny is Kenny. He's not going to shine that great, but it doesn't mean he's not a good wrestler. Shelton Jean is still green. I could see it. It is obvious he's too green, even though he's not bad as a talent. So through most of that match that I saw, Shelton Green was okay, but he didn't shine that well. The ones that did shine was Trinity, obviously. Trey did shine very, very well. Deonna Purrazzo, obviously as the Knockouts champion, she was very good. And the one thing that was very focused on, that they waited until near the end of that match, was Alex Shelley, to make it important that Alex, who is the current champ now, is one of the most important people there. That was highly important. Yes, everyone else was not bad, but in the end, this was about them. Those I just mentioned. In the end, the faces win. No problem. And we get the turn on a Nick Aldis as he's handing the title to a Alex Shelley. He nails him in the face with it. He walks away. And now we have a heel turn Nick Aldis, which makes perfect sense because he has to. The gold standard must be a heel in this situation. He can't be a face. So the wrestling itself was not bad. Were there a couple of hiccups during the match? Yeah, there was a couple of zoom-ins that was not fun. That was a little annoying. Then you got a few shots of some ass, some crock shots. But that's normal. That happens because of very fast-paced wrestling. As long as you keep your screen, in other words, your zoom back like this, there's no problem. People will be fine with it. It counts on them. You don't want to worry about production that you can't capture what's in the ring so people at home can see. Remember, there's only so many people in the damn venue. I don't care if there's 10,000 people in the venue. You got 500,000 people watching the product who's giving you more money than those 10,000. You got to cater. You got to prioritize. Make sure, yes, the people in the arena is cared about. But if you can't capture what's in the ring, the people that's 500,000 that's watching will not pay you. I'm just saying. Now, let's move on to the part that was the most important. That's leading to soon Slammiversary. That's leading over to the next show, going to Impact Down Under. That is the storytelling. What do we get in the very opening? Motor City Machine Guns coming in. Motor City Machine Guns meaning Nick Aldis. And as you already know, Nick turned heel. But at this moment, in the very beginning of the show, I will say, he spoke well. He tried to make it important to say that Alex Shelley was important because Alex, before that happened, made it very clear that it was his time. For the last 20 years, he's been nourishing other people. He helped out a Seth Rollins, which is the second time he's mentioned them because it was important. He mentioned Trey Miguel. He mentioned the Bucks. He made sure Switchblade Jay White was mentioned because he did teach him. And when Nick came out, he also said, me. Another person you could add to that is me because I've also become a champion. He didn't say NWA, of course, he's not going to, which he could, and I think he should, but it's kind of hard to say how Billy Corgan is going to react, knowing that he was mentioned in this, and they don't want to have any type of conflict with NWA if they're ever going to work again. But essentially speaking, Nick made it very clear that all those people you mentioned, that's true, but you also taught me. And now that you reached my level, because not only did you teach me, I went beyond, of course, as NWA World Heavyweight Champion. That lasted 1,044 days, or 43. He earned the right to brag a little bit. Guys, no matter if you like Nick or not, he did hold that title for nearly 3 years. Nearly 3 years. Right now, you got Roman Reigns that's creeping up on that, and probably very soon will surpass it. And I said it myself, if he dropped that title before Nick's time, I will always say the one who has been longer in the recent memory of any promotion, the longest running champion would be Nick Aldis. But it counts on where Roman Reigns is right now. He's got to beat Nick Aldis' time of 1,043 days. He probably will. I doubt they're going to make him drop it before Nick's time is up. I'll be surprised if it did. But that's what we got for the opening segment. At least until we got multiple people coming out. The first person that came out, who came out first? Trying to keep up with, because there was a lot of people. It was Trey first who came out saying all this ass kissing. Wait, I take that back. My boy Trey started belching. My boy Trey decided to make this so important, to make it so spectacular. He came out with water, drank it, and he just started belching on the mic. And he said, sorry, I just heard you in the back. I was getting a little annoyed. Throws down the floor, the bottle, steps on it, kicks it. Everyone's looking at him saying, what? What you got? I'm paying for, I'm making sure that the janitors got something to do. This is what I'm telling you about Trey Miguel. He learned his lesson. He knows what a heel needs to be. Charismatic, attitude-y, understands how to be a ring general when he needs to be, and how to play and cater to the crowd to piss them off, or as a face, and to pop them. He knows how to do it. Then we got Kenny King coming out with Shelton Jean, which basically Shelton really saying nothing. He is the protege of Kenny King, and Kenny said it pretty well. He said, look, I see all this ass kissing in the ring. The only person that I see that really makes the most sense is my boy Trey here. You don't know how to be respectful to people like us. At that point, once you get that, you get, believe Gazelle Shaw coming out. Gazelle comes out, basically with her entourage, and makes it very clear that, and she walks up to Shelton, not Alex Shelley, not Shelton Jean, but Alex Shelley, and says, you seem to be so important, but you ain't nothing compared to me. And he makes it very clear how important he is. He's trying to start a yup movement. I'm saying it now. I'm saying it right now. Alex Shelley, about to say Shelton Jean. Alex Shelley is trying to start a yup movement. Does it sound familiar? He's trying to emulate and imitate a Bryan Danielson, who surprisingly is one of his contemporaries. This is where it gets interesting. That if Alex Shelley left Impact Wrestling with the AEW, he probably would be a contemporary of ROH and of Bryan Danielson. He's been around just as long as him. Both of them have been in the business almost the exact same amount of time. Maybe he might be maybe a year or two younger, but they're both pretty much veterans. And I like to see Alex Shelley go up against Bryan Danielson. I want to see the Yup movement go against the Yes movement. But pretty much he was playing into that. And I do believe they're going to try and make something out of it. If they don't, they're stupid. Try the Yup movement. Try it. I know it's a bite-off for Bryan Danielson and WWE. Who cares? This is WWE. Impact Wrestling is WWE Light. That's exactly what we got. And we got Trent coming out and Peraza coming out. They started arguing with each other until the Director of Authority makes it very clear that I am the current Director of Authority, and I'm setting up this match tonight. That's what we got. That's what happened in the beginning, and you know what happened in the match at the end. Now, Venda Gunjer was interviewed. You already know that the Impact Diary is on YouTube, but Access is getting the second episode. The second episode of the Impact Diaries is now being shown to Access. The first one was Trey. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't go for Gazelle Shaw. Maybe she's next. Maybe they will show Gazelle Shaw next, maybe. Or Jordan Grace. Or, well, so far, the ones I've seen was Jordan Grace was first. Gazelle Shaw was second. Jordan Grace was first. Trey Miguel was second. Gazelle Shaw was third. Gunja was fourth. Rosemary is now fifth. She's the fifth one. So they're not going in order. They have already released Trey's first Impact Diary. Now they're going to do a Venda Gunja. So he's talking about his life. And they did show a few scenes of him and showing his broken nose when he had that ladder match. So we get Dirty Dango, who should be... This is where they made a mistake. Why not make him Digital Media Champion? It would have made sense for him, with his personality, with his charisma, to become Digital Media Champion. They chose not to pull the trigger, which was dumb. That was a mistake. I will give this to creative. They made a stupid mistake not making him a Digital Media Champion. I'm sorry, he should have. Now we're going to have a story between Gunjer and Dango. Good. A veteran of Dango's caliber working with Gunjer, I have no problem with, except for one, he should be fucking champ. But this is what we got. Next, the design. The design is pissed off because they got their butts kicked. The design wants to blame somebody. That's Diener. He turns to Alan Angels. Alan Angels looking at him said, look, where I was before, I left because I didn't want to be bossed around anymore. AEW and Dark Order. I came here and did everything you wanted. And now what, you want to blame me? And the one who was not pissed, who was surprised, going like this in the back. I don't know if I got a shot of it. I don't even know if I'm putting images in here. But it's Khan. The one calming mind was Khan, not Diener, not Angels. It was Khan. He said, this is what he wanted. This is what Sammy wanted. Stop it. We have to show who we really are. We are the design. We are the ones who make sure this is done right. So the design is going to double the efforts against OVE. The question is, how long are they going to do this? That's going to be the big question. And I'm not 100% certain about OVE. How they're going to make this work for how long, I don't know. You guys tell me below. Now, let's see here. No. The last thing we're going to talk about is going to be Bully Ray's segment, which is the one I'm very happy to hear about, but it does have a caveat. Bully Ray's angry. He said, you know who I am. I'm Bully Ray. It's unfair the way I was treated. It's unfair that I got what I got. And Bully Ray is pissed. He is pissed off. But you want to make it clear that Bully is going to do something about that. Bully is going to get an opportunity. Because we got Scott D'Amore coming out. Not talking about PCO and the other person that came out to help a Bully Ray. But Scott is sick and tired of the situation. Scott is annoyed at the situation. Scott has made it very clear about that fight. And afterward that he said he's taking a leave of absence. But before he took a leave of absence, he made a request for a match. And that is a tag match with PCO and him versus Bully Ray and a partner of his choosing, which was outside, which I can't remember right now who he was. But now we're going to have a match with Scott D'Amore. Damn it all, I wanted Bully Ray and Scott by themselves. That's what I really wanted. Bully Ray and Scott by themselves. But due to the fact that probably Scott is not in ring competitor much anymore. Yes, he does work with Con Air Wrestling Academy. That's his wrestling academy. I believe I'm mispronouncing his academy, which I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't see it much. Seeing that he's going to have this match with Bully Ray is great. But I wanted to be singles, not a tag. I truly wanted to be singles, not a tag. But this is what we got. This is what we got. And I believe it was Macklin. I believe that was Macklin. And Macklin did have a video saying that he was so mad because he lost the damn title. That is unfair. That Alex Shelley should never even been given the opportunity. But he is going to get back. This is what we got in Impact Wrestling. A very interesting show where it was mainly story-driven more than it was wrestling-driven. Way more than WWE would normally do. You know WWE, they always got to have a certain amount of matches, a certain amount of people, even if it's only a 2-minute match. They're going to throw those people in here. Impact, even though it acts like WWE Light, at least when they believe the story is important or stories, they pull back on the wrestling. If it's 6 matches they normally do, they'll pull back to 4 or 3 in this situation. If it's more wrestling they need, they will make very little story and they will push up to 8 matches, add an extra 2. They don't overdo it within those 2 hours. And I will say I'm glad they do that. I'm not always positive of Impact. I know you've heard me say it. I'm not always positive, but I tell you the truth. I tell you about the character development, I tell you about the in-ring work, and I tell you about the production. Highly important that you know the all-around product, not just what's going on in the ring, and not just what's the characters that's going on, and not just about the story. You need to also know production. How are you going to watch the damn thing if it's too dark, or they don't even zoom out to watch the product? A lot of times they don't do that. You deserve to know this before you watch it. Now, I can easily tell you if you like stories a little more than the wrestling, you will like this one a little bit more. I'm not saying the stories are perfect. They're not. Like what's going on with Dirty Dango. He should be champion for the Digital Media Championship. But at least you'll get this. And I know one of my friends there. You know who you are. I know there was no Johnny Swing unless I missed it when I went to the bathroom. He wasn't on the show. They may show him next week or maybe in Down Under. Remember, they are doing Impact Down Under January 30th to the 1st of July. So we will be seeing that. I don't know if I'll be able to catch it because it's going to be at 5 a.m. whatever live event they're going to be doing. So I don't know. Peace.